Riverside Apartments, New York City, a city where millions of people live, but some places are inhabited only by shadows. Michael Carter was an ordinary college student. The burden of studies, a limited budget, and the search for an affordable roof over his head. That was his life. When he found a cheap room at Riverside Apartments, he said yes without thinking twice. The building was old, the walls were cracked, and the wooden floors creaked. But the rent was so low that it was easy for Michael to overlook all of it. The first few days, everything was fine. But on the fourth night, everything changed. It was around 2 a.m. when Michael's eyes suddenly opened. There was no dream, no reason. His eyes just opened, as if someone had woken him up. He stared at the ceiling. Then he heard it. Tap, 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 footsteps in the hallway. Slow, steady, and perfectly clear. The sound moved gradually toward his door, and then suddenly stopped. Michael's heart stopped for a moment. He thought, maybe it's a neighbor. But then he remembered. There were only 2 apartments on this floor, and the other one had been locked for months. He gathered his courage, got up, opened the door, and looked outside. The hallway was completely empty. No person, no sound, no sign of anything. Michael closed the door and lay back down on his bed. He told himself, maybe it was just a thought during sleep. Maybe it was just his imagination. But the next night, the same thing happened again. This time the sound was even clearer, as if someone were walking barefoot on a wooden floor. The creak of the floorboards with every step. Tap, tap, tap. Michael sat up stiff in his bed. His heart was pounding hard. The sound passed through the hallway, passed by the door, and this time came inside the room. Michael shut his eyes in fear. A few seconds passed. His breath was held. Then he slowly opened his eyes, and his blood ran cold. On the wall in front of him was a shadow. The shadow of a man. Perfectly clear, perfectly still. But there was no one in the room to cast it. The shadow began to move slowly, as if someone were standing there, breathing. Michael lunged for the light switch. The light spread across the room, and the shadow disappeared. The room was empty, completely empty. The next morning, Michael went straight to the building manager's office. Mr. Harris was an old, serious man. Years of experience etched on his face and a strange unease in his eyes. "Has anything strange ever happened in this apartment before?" Michael asked. Harris was quiet for a moment. Then he spoke slowly. 10 years ago, a man lived in that room. His name was Daniel Brooks. A pause. One night, the police received a call. When they entered, Daniel's body was found hanging from the ceiling fan. Michael's hands went cold. After that day, Harris continued, several tenants complained. Footsteps in the night, a shadow moving in the room. Michael told himself, this is all just coincidence. The sounds of an old building, a trick of tired eyes. But what happened that night? After that, Michael never looked back. It was 3 o'clock in the morning. Michael's eyes opened. The room was dark. This time there was no sound, no footsteps, just a heavy, suffocating silence. And then he felt it. Someone was standing right beside his bed. Michael's body turned to stone. He wanted to move but couldn't. He wanted to scream, but no sound came out. Slowly, he turned his head. At the edge of the bed stood a shadow, and that shadow was leaning toward his face, as if someone were staring at him closely, as if someone were counting his breaths. Michael gathered his last bit of strength and turned on the light. Brightness flooded the room. The room was empty. The next morning, Michael left the apartment. Without speaking to anyone, without looking back, he just walked away. But the story doesn't end here. To this day, new tenants move into room 214 of Riverside Apartments, and within just a few days, they begin to complain about the same things. Footsteps in the night, a shadow on the wall, and those who sleep there say that in their sleep, they feel it. Someone is watching them, in the darkness, in silence.